Hello, everybody. My name is, of course, Bidian, and welcome to my Let's Play of Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. If any of you have played Dwarf Fortress and tried out the adventure mode in Dwarf Fortress, you'll pretty much know how this goes. The combat is a little bit simpler. It uses hit points for the major body sections instead of, being able to target individual tendons and whatnot. Um, but it is set in a post-apocalyptic zombie wasteland style. Well, not really wasteland, more like you'll see. But generally speaking, post-zombie apocalypse environment. This Let's Play was requested through the Aurora IRC, so where I basically live. So if you want to request anything else, that's where I live. Now, I am using the latest experimental version as of yesterday. So that's point C is the main one, and we are currently on well, this thing changes 12137 whatever. But this is the latest as of yesterday. It gets updated, 2 or 3 times a week, I think, at the moment. So it quickly gets out of date, but the changes are relatively minor per change, so easy to keep up with. Um, I am, of course, using graphical tiles because I honestly can't stand the standard one. So yeah, let's get to it. So first of all, I'll go through the options that I'm using. So auto pickups are off. I like to control exactly what goes into my inventory and when. Safe mode is set to 80, which is a little bit higher than default, just to stop the safe mode spam when we walk past zombies. Auto saves are off, and I like to keep death cam to ask because generally speaking, I like to leave it off because as soon as it unloads you from death, it preserves your body and stuff like that in the environment. So sometimes makes things a little bit easier, especially if you get killed by acid or fire or whatnot. For the interface, I am Australian, so of course these are going to be metric. Other than that, these are pretty much all um, default. I've set the terminal is your screen size. Your resolution in pixels is shown there. So that is what you want to be using. The default is about this big, so it's tiny. So I'd like to make it a little bit higher. I'm of course using the chest hole tile set, which is the default tile set. There are of course plenty of others. There's 2 chest hole. There's Dion's. A lot. Right. There's a whole bunch of chest holes. Okay. So yeah, these are the various settings that I'm using. I've also turned off skill rust because eventually you're pretty much left just constantly retraining your skills to keep them high enough, especially once you get to certain thresholds, which make it a little bit difficult to get past. And these are the world default settings. So these are pretty much the settings that I'm using for the world. So cities are a little bit bigger. There's a little bit more zombies and a little bit less items. And the evolution scaling factor is set to 15. The higher this is, the slower that zombies will convert from regular zombies to more special zombies. And special zombies will evolve into their advanced versions at a lower rate as well. Spring, and I've set to 30-day length. I've also turned on static NPCs. This is actually different. I've changed this. It should be that one. So this one will spawn basically zombies. It'll basically have spawn points that will spawn zombies indefinitely. All right. So if you make noise, it'll spawn zombies. If you get spotted and zombies come after you, it'll spawn zombies. Stuff like that. Static spawn will spawn zombies at the beginning of the game. And will not respawn zombies. Zombies will come back to life, but they will not actually respawn. So if you clear a city, it's cleared for good. And you can combine these so that you can clear a city out of the initial wave, and then you just need to be a little bit quiet to make sure that the wandering spawns don't get you. And of course, mutation by radiation, that allows you to get mutations by hanging around in radioactive pools, which is nice. Okay, so yes. So the world, unfortunately, doesn't let you see what settings you've used for the world, which is actually a little bit annoying. But the mods that I'm using are the medieval and historical content for the various medieval armor and weaponry. More survival tools, so that you can build various things to keep you alive a little bit easier. I haven't checked out PK's rebalancing. I'll probably start using it once I check it out, and if it turns out good, but for the moment, I'm not. Um, I'm also using tanks and other vehicles, and the vehicle additions pack to make your vehicles a little bit nicer. Um, I would like to use the Arcana and Magic items, but I believe this is the mod that adds zombie masters, and they are just an absolute freaking pain in the neck, so I'm not using them at the moment. I disabled religious text because it um, takes up valuable spawn points for items. The religious texts make your character happier, but apart from that, they don't really do anything else, and books available enough as it is. And I also turn off joke monsters because they're just kind of stupid. Balance is all fine. Now, I do want to basically give a kind of rundown of what things do what. So to scroll through these three, or through this section, you use tab. To scroll through these tabs, you use the arrow pointers. Which on an English keyboard is shift dot and shift comma, back and forth. So shift dot, shift comma, shift dot, comma, dot, comma, dot, dot, comma, dot. All right. So this basically just draws the default world settings that you've used, and this allows you to name it. So I've already got a world, so that is what I'll be using. So how do you start your game? You hit new game, and you can, if you select I'm not sure what the difference is between play now and random character, because I think play now gives you a specific character that you start with, whereas random makes you literally randomize from scratch. So these are if you just want to throw in there and just face whatever's there. But for a starting game, for a new player, you'd ideally want a custom character. Preset is if you have once you created a character, you can preset them. You can save the preset and use that. So I'm going to load my preset Steve, who is fairly decent, who's fairly reasonable, and I'll go through it and I'll show you the various settings. Okay. So you would start off here, all right? So multiple pools gives you specific points that you can put into your traits, stats, and skills. So by default, it starts with 2, 2, 2. So 2 points into traits, 2 points into stats, 2 points into skills. A single pool gives you the same number of points, but you can distribute them in any combination you want. So you can put all 6 into stats or all 6 into traits. Freeform doesn't put a limit at all. So we are using single pool. Scenario evacuee is what I'm using at the moment. So you start off at an evac shelter, and you are allowed to choose from all professions, but the default's to survivor. You have a few high rank challenges, so really bad day. So you're a shower victim, which means, and which I'll show you in a second, but it basically means that you start off with a towel and that's it. You can spawn anywhere, but you start infected, drunk, sick, and your starting location is on fire. So, so drunk to the point of incapacitation, depressed, infected, surrounded by fire, naked, and sick with the flu. Yeah, it's a really bad day. It really means it. However, you do get a bonus 10 points to spend on what you want, so trait, stats, and skills. So you do get a pretty heavy start, a good start on these. And don't worry if none of these make sense. Well, some of these would, but don't worry if some of these don't make sense because you can continue on. Abandoned, lab, medieval, peasant. So Medieval Peasant is interesting because as a troll, you basically don't learn skills like at all. So it's really important to focus on those. And then you have various others which give you, so some of them will give you points like these ones. Some of them will take them away because you start off in with a better situation than not. For profession, we're going with Survivor. So have no professional traits, no profession skills, but you do get some profession items. So you start off with boxer shorts, jeans, long sleeve shirt, pair of socks, winter coat, pair of winter boots. Which one? Here it is. A knit scarf, a pocket knife, a bottle of clean water, and a matchbook. So you can start fire easily. You have something to drink with. You have something to butcher with. It's generally a really nice start, and this is the one that I recommend for beginners, or that is recommended for beginners. And then you also have other ones like Tweaker. You're basically amphetamine. You're gonna have amphetamine withdrawal. So amphetamine withdrawal means that your character is addicted to amphetamines, and if you don't regularly ingest amphetamines, then you'll go through withdrawal, which will, wreck your shit. So um, this one is a more challenging situation because you have very little clothing, and that's why you get the 2 extra points. And then you have some more standard ones. Another decent good one that I found, where is it? Is Lumberjack. Lumberjack is a good one because you start off with decent clothing, but very, very importantly, you start off with a wood axe. All right, and a wood axe allows you to chop down trees, and being able to chop down trees means that you're going to be in a much better position. With the extra survival kits, you do get the ability to make your own stone axes pretty easily or pretty early on, so it's not as important in the later versions, but a few versions ago you didn't have that option in the mods, so wood axe is really, really important. Then of course you have the really high-end ones like this one here, Master Black Belt. So you start with 8 skills of melee, unarmed combat, and dodging, which means that you pretty much walk up to a zombie and you completely destroy it. You've got various gear, but you can completely destroy unarmed. You don't need any weapons or anything like that. Um, Samurai gets a bunch of skills to work with and good weapons. So you got composite bow, um, and a katana, which is one of the best melee weapons in the game. So yeah, you get major advantages, but it costs you points, so you have less to spend. So let's talk about trait stats and skills. So let's do stats first. Fairly simple. Strength lets you carry more and deal more damage and makes you tougher. Very useful. Dexterity increases your chance to hit on melee and on throwing and on range. So very handy for if you don't want to get in close. You should have one of these two at a reasonable level. These all start at 8, by the way. You should have one of these two at a reasonable level. Strength is probably better because with range you can run out of ammo. With strength, you don't. Intelligence, read times, and skill rust. My read time is 104 because I have a particular trait, but I don't have skill rust because I've turned that off. So only 4% longer read time. It's fine. 12 intelligence is really important if you're going to be thinking about doing anything with bionics, because some of the more complicated bionics need the 12 intelligence to really comprehend, and these attributes don't really raise at all or change very much at all. You can take penalties to them, but it's kind of hard to get bonuses without mutations and stuff like that. So um, having a high base value of these is really important. There is a particular mod that you can use to where as you work these attributes, as you work these stats, they increase naturally. But I don't have that turned on, so base is important. And perception also reduces your range penalty and allows you to see things easier. Very handy for minefields. So we'll go to skills next. So this allows you to, so all your skills start at level 0, I believe. and this allows you to spend points to start them at a higher level. So I've raised my fabrication because first level of fabrication is really freaking annoying because you can't really do anything with it. And I've raised my level of mechanics because with mechanics, the starting level of mechanics, you basically can't do anything with a vehicle at all. You can drive it, but that's it. The first level of mechanics allows you to do some very basic stuff, so you can build it up a lot easier. The rest of them are very easy to train or unimportant, so that is where they all sit. So traits. By default, you can spend 12 points worth from either column. So the left side is positive traits, which increase your ability, and the left side is negative traits, which decrease your ability but give you points. Fairly straightforward. And a lot of these are kind of counters to each other. So Accomplished Sleeper allows you to fall asleep very easily, whereas Insomniac makes it very difficult to fall asleep. And these really should be opposites of each other, but oh well. So yeah, feel free to read through all these. The description is fairly straightforward. I have gone with Animal Empathy because this stops normal animals from um, running away from you or being aggressive towards you. Very important when it comes to moose, which will wreck your day, and bears, which will also wreck your day, and wolves, which will really wreck your day. Um, I've also gone with night vision because this is basically this really should be a default trait in my opinion because there really is no reason why you should not be bringing this with you. All right. This allows you to explore at night when you are safest, where zombies can't see you, where animals can't see you, and it gives you much improved vision at night. And it's just so much. The benefit far outweighs the 2 points. I've also got robust genetics for when we do mutagenics. So this will um, provide a substantial benefit, substantially increase the chances of getting beneficial mutations, and it greatly decreases the chance of getting negative mutations. Very handy. So those are the only three that I've gone because I've put most of my things in stats and skills. But a few other decent ones are, um, let's have a look. Scout is okay because it allows you to scout out the map a little bit easier and see further on the map. Um, Parkour Expert is handy. It doesn't slow you down when you have to jump over a railing or a counter. Optimist is handy for increasing your mood. Masochist will help alleviate pain, and pain will kill you almost faster than zombies will, because pain slows you down and weakens you and hampers you, and you will very quickly um, fall to pain, and pain will cause your death more often than anything else. In fact, infection resistance is handy if you get disease easier, stuff like that. For my negatives, I've gone with addictive personality. This is a good one to pick because as long as you don't take drugs, you're good. All right. So if you don't take the drugs, if you don't drink alcohol, you won't get addicted, and then you're not going to have any problem. Of course, it means that you're going to have a harder time in uh, dealing with situations where drugs are useful, such as if you need to run the hell away or take on a particularly tough monster. But oh well, you can still take them. It's just easier to get addicted. Heavy sleeper. Usually I don't sleep unless I'm in a safe space, so it's basically a free point. Insomniac, it's not a problem because I don't usually sleep until I'm really tired anyway, so once again, free 2 points. Lactose Intolerance is almost a free point. Um, Milk and cheese can make you a little bit nauseous and lowers your morale, but um, as long as you only eat maybe one portion of it, then it'll hit your morale, but it won't make you throw up. And after about the first 30 days or so, all the milk has gone rotten anyway, so you wouldn't want to eat it. And cheese goes off after a while as well, and it's kind of hard to find it lactose after the first month or two anyway, that you would be eating. Lightweight, once again, alcohol and drugs. Um, if you don't use them, then it's a free point. Slow healer, the reduction in healing rate is not crippling, and you can always just sleep longer. Um, so yeah, this is fairly cheap 2 points. Slow reader, once again, because of my intelligence of 12, I only get a 4% penalty to the base reading speed, so not a problem. 3 point. Trigger happy, as long as you don't use automatic weapons, then it's a 3 point. And weak stomach, so as long as you don't eat anything stupid, you'll be fine. Weak point. So that's my 12 negatives and my 6 positives. And that is the character that I am going with. What I might do, because I have played this one a little bit, instead of going one fabrication, I might go. Cooking is easy enough, but you get a lot of things with cooking, like eggs and stuff. Eh, wondering whether Mechanics 3 will be worthwhile, because that allows it to repair things and train it easier. Yeah, let's go with Mechanic 3 instead, because fabrication is easy enough to train as it is anyway. Okay, so that is the character that I'm going with, and let's call him, so Beard the First. And there we go. Alright, so first thing you'll see is your survivor inside a shelter. Thankfully I haven't spawned in the shelter that I'm with. To move, you use the numpad arrow keys. There we go. And I'll give you a quick rundown. So obviously you'll always be in the center. And there's some stairs going down. The stairs going down in every shelter. This guy over here is an NPC. There's pretty much, if you have static NPCs, there's one pretty much in every starting location. Then you can see over here in on this section here is what you're looking at. So if you put a mouse over it, you'll see that it's showing. So here there is a floor, there is a bench. It costs 150 movement points to move over it. That'll be because of the bench. It's smashable and it's flat, so you can put things on it. All right. Over here we have a locker. So there's still the floor underneath. But there's also a locker. It's impassable, so you can't walk through it. It's smashable, so you can break it. And it's flat, so you can put things in it. And it also says you cannot see what is inside of it because we're too far away. So there could be something inside it, right? All right, here's a counter, and here is a computer console. You can see there's a tiny little bit of light and the walls are lit up. That is because there is sun. It's sunny outside. It's 8 in the morning, so it's sunny outside, but inside all the windows and doors are closed, so there is complete darkness. Over here, we have a small little representation of your immediate region. So we can see that in the middle is us, and there is a little plus circle icon, which is the evac shelter. There is a road leading east, and we are surrounded by forest. So this could be a very good base because with lots of forest, you have lots of little woodland animals and lots of trees, and you can scavenge uh, for foodstuffs and stuff like that. So very handy. Next to it, you have your health. So if you have the self-aware trait, then you will have hit point numbers instead of bars, but these bars will slowly decrease until 0. And then so you have your head, your torso, your arms, and your legs. If your legs are broken, so drop to 0 HP, then they are classified as broken. You'll need to sling them to have them start healing. If your legs are broken, then you can't run around very quickly. If your arms are broken, then you won't be able to swing or, I think, carry much. If your torso or your head are destroyed, you die. Those are fairly straightforward. Here we have a little icon representing a moodlet. These are your current attributes. So at the moment we are perfectly fine, so they are base. If we take drugs or get mutations, then they might go higher. If our morale drops, or if we take injuries, or if we get hungry or thirsty, which are displayed here, then these will decrease and they'll turn red. This safe is toggled using exclamation mark, so which is shift 1. Safe mode on, when it's a safe, if you spot a hostile or a potentially hostile creature, then it will pause and it won't let you move. So if you're holding down movement to sprint long, to move long distance, then you want safe mode on just in case you run into something that's going to eat your face off. Underneath it, you have your stamina bar. Once again, it decreases when you do things. So when you fight, this will decrease. When you run, this will decrease. So your stamina is there. Your focus is kind of like a multiplier for your learning. So at 100, you get base experience. As your focus decreases, then you'll get less. As your focus goes over, then you'll get more. There are minimums, so you can't drop to 0 focus, and you can't go above, I think, like 160, 170 focus, something around there. But yeah, you want your focus to be kept as high as possible, especially when you're learning things. All right. This is your speed. All right. So 100 is the amount of movement points that you have for this turn, so to speak. And the 0, I believe, is how many you have spent. I believe is how many you have spent for your last action. So movement cost at 100. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I believe it's the amount of points that your last action costs. The W is whether you're walking or running. So the double quote marks toggle between walk and run. So when you run, you move faster, which means that it takes you, so it only costing 53 movement points to move, but it burns your stamina away. So it also makes you noisier as well. So you can see here that the amount of sound that you're generating. So a standard walk produces 6. A run, well, it should be making more noise, but apparently it doesn't. Either way, so that's the amount of sound that you're making, and running, in theory, makes it easier to see, but oh well. So evac shelter tells us where we are. The current weather is shown here. So at the moment we have snow flurries. Here we have the current moon phase and how bright it is in our immediate location. So at the moment everything's closed up. It's very dark. Our season, our day, and our sun and moon position. So this will give you a rough idea of what time it is. This is replaced with a timer once we have a watch or anything that will tell us the actual time. Down here we have what weapon we have equipped. So at the moment we have fists and what style we are using. So when you are using, no, where is style? That's not it. There's a button that tells you what style you're using. Anyway, so when you're using a melee weapon, you can choose a style if you have learnt one. I believe at melee 2 you can learn brawler style, which changes your fists combat start mechanism. But yeah, certain styles will have advantages and disadvantages. This block here tells you what you can see in which direction relative to where you are, and it'll have a little key about what symbol means what. So once we get outside, you'll be able to see that. You have a little message log here, and you have a pixel radar of the immediate region. So, so it's obviously our view range is only about to here. So this will give us an idea of what's around us. You can zoom in and out using Z and Shift Z. I prefer this one because this is a little zoom because you can see easily. And that pretty much covers the basics. So I'll go through the commands as we play. but we'll actually get stuck into it with making weapons and crafting and stuff like that. So as I do things, I'll tell you. I might actually set up an indicator, maybe up here or down here or something, or somewhere about what keys I'm pressing, because you won't really be able to see anything because I'm not clicking anything on the screen. I'm pretty much entirely using the keyboard. So I'll see about setting up an indicator of what buttons I'm pressing, just so you all can keep track as well. Um, I have to find somewhere to put it, but oh well. Either way, um, yeah, I'll take care of that in the meantime, and we will continue on with our first day of survival tomorrow. See you all then.